Hello, everyone. Hello, everyone. Hello, everyone. We're back, and we would like to introduce you to Real Talk Conversations, where we come together to have conversation with each and every one of us. That we have a platform that we can come and relax. Today, I have a very special guest, Bryn Lee, the model. I'm gonna bring up y'all, and hey,
Y'all doing?
oh, we're doing fine. How you doing?
I'm doing
Every
great.
every That's great. Everyone, I'd like everyone to meet Brinley the model. Brinley the model, welcome to Real Talk Conversations. And today's topic is pursuing your dreams, never give up. So, to my audience and to my son audience, the Smooth family, we would like for you to introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about yourself.
Okay, I am known as Brindley the model. That's my professional name. I go at Brindley the model. My name is Brenda Coulson Richardson. I grew up in Waysboro, North Carolina, on 52, what they call Mockingbird Hill. That's where I
Yes.
grew up. And growing up, I grew up with brothers. Two brothers, which I had to defend myself, and I was a tomboy. So, as that said, I grew up among them. I have four other sisters, but they were gone when we was growing up, so they wasn't around. So I consider it as the threesome with my two brothers. But I grew up there, finished there, went to school. But as always tell people, I was anxious to get from there. I was, because back then it was a lot to do. Consider what it is now. It was nothing to do there. Even though they said I was sheltered, it still wasn't anything to do. But I grew up there, and I went to school, and that's where my story started at.
Okay. Well, good, good, good. I have a question right now. What pursued you or made you
Okay.
think about what made you think about chasing your dream, pursuing being a model? How did that come about?
Because like I said, in high school, everybody has a purpose, everybody have goals, everybody has dreams that they want to accomplish in their life. And some of it is given through what God wants you to do, in line of what he wants you to do, and some of it is what you want to do. But as I grew out of being a tomboy, as I was approaching middle school, I wanted to be a model, because I used to want to dress like them. I want to be then. I want the latest fashion. I wanted all of it. Like, I would listen to you and Brandon today, and y'all were saying some of the things, especially you, Carl. You said something that I work with children also, because that's my passion. I love children. You said something that kind of affect me back then, and that's what my dream started. It's like, show me your friends, I will show you your future. Because I allowed my friends to determine my future back then, because they would tell me I couldn't do this. I was too short. I was too quiet, which I was in school. I was. And the friends that you have, and in school, I didn't have that many friends. I knew of people, but having friends, because I grew up with boys, so I was just sheltered to myself mostly, other than participating in class. But your friends makes a lot of difference who you hang around, who you with, because they can give you the negative, or they can give you encouragement. So my dream was to be a model. Back then, I was gonna finish there, go and do design and do all of this. But as you listen to the negative talk, And that's what happened to me in the beginning. But God had another plan for me as I went along and did what I'm doing now. I went through stages. So to answer your question, like I said, show me your friends. I tell my students that I'm around. When I'm on one-on-one with them, I always tell them, you show me your friend, who you hanging around. I show you what kind of future you would be. And like you were telling that if you're in a place that you never grown, you never went forward, you never did these things, because who are you hanging around? Because they don't have a motivation about themselves to do better and to seek their dreams. Because I was thinking as I was listening to you all, my purpose was you can do a lot of things. You may be great at a lot of things. You can go to school, a 4-year degree at something, but if that is not your goal, that is not what makes you happy. If that, you can do it. Like I went through a lot of things before I end up where I am now. Because a lot of people tell me they can't believe that I had those men in position that I had. But you can go through that until you get something you love. If you get what your dream, your calling, your dream, something that you love, you can stay at it. Don't care where you will stay at it. You would love getting up in the morning, doing anything. You would love doing that instead of hating what you're doing, because you can do it. You went to school to do it, but that wasn't your purpose. So my purpose was to be a model, because I see that now. Because when I left Anson County, I went in nursing school. I was in nursing school. I got discouraged. I came out of nursing after 4 semesters. I came out. Went in delivering. I was delivering newspaper, not newspaper. I was doing mail. I was a mail carrier. I was good at it. Wow. I was good at it. When I got hired there, even I'm just being real. Even the supervisor, because when I do stuff, I do it to my best ability. I do everything to my best, because when you do things, you're supposed to be doing as unto the Lord. So anything I do, I try to strive to do my best. So I was a mail carrier. The guy, when I would go in, deliver the mail, sort it out, get out and deliver it, get back in, he'll send me right back out with another load. Get out, finish that, come back in. And one of my homeboys, I ain't gonna call his name out, at the time, he graduated with my sister. He worked in mail carrier. And he told me, he said, he pulled me to the side and he said, listen, you're making us look bad. You need to stop. You showing them that this mail can go out quick and get back in. You can go back by 2 times. He said, stop going back in there. He said, stop going in, because you're making us look bad. But I was doing everything to my best. So I was sorting and get out there. But then I said, this is not what I want to do. When I told him I was stopping, I was quitting, he told me he tried to keep me to stay there. And I said, no, this is not what I'm tired of getting chased by dogs. I'm tired of being sprayed and the stuff coming back in my eye to get the dogs off. And I'm saying, then he gives me a car so I can deliver instead of walk. Because up here in Charlotte, you walk the route. And I'm like, no, I have dogs chasing me. It's raining, you still got to deliver the mail. It's snowing, you still got to deliver the mail. I said, nah, this is not for me. So I stopped that. I'm like, then I started my own business. I used it on a janitor's service. I stayed with that. I gave orders. And see, I'm detailed. I'm very detailed. When I started that business, it was just houses. But I didn't have to advertise anything. It was a word of mouth that my business grew, because everything I do, like I said, I did it unto the Lord, because like I'm working for him. So my name was passed out. So I had to make a stop and say, I cannot take you on any more clients, because it's just me. So then I said, okay, I'm gonna go in commercial. Then I'm gonna start hiring people. The people that I have client of doing their houses didn't want me to go. I said, no, I'm sending a worker there. They wanted me to do it because I was very detailed. And I'm like, nope. And then my children, that's why you can get children in your business. That's why I am so proud of you and Brandy, because y'all work together as a family doing this. And I really appreciate, because I brought my family in my business and they got paid what everybody else got paid doing, taking out trash. But that was my business. But that was not my calling. I was good at it, but it wasn't my calling. So I got them off the school and I was at the mall. This is how I was at the mall. And the lady from John Casablanca, she approached me and she asked me, have I ever thought about doing modeling, acting and modeling? And I thought about it, and it went back all the way back to school. And I said, yeah, in middle school, high school, I did. Then she gave me her card and said, we're having a casting. Will you come? And I thought about it and prayed about it. I said, Lord, are you opening the door now for me? And I went. I auditioned. She put me up right then. And when I walked in that door, the first day of training, a lot of models now, they are just, I'm noticing they are just picking up and say they are model. They haven't been trained because they don't know how to do this, what not to do and what to do. So I went through training, and before I even got halfway through training, they was casting me in movies. They were casting me in runway, and usually that don't happen. In the model field, it takes, like she told me, it takes a while before you develop into being a professional model. It takes a while. But she had cast me within that year. It wasn't a year, 3 months. I was in a movie. It was a Hallmark movie. I was in 2 Hallmark movies. One was here in Charlotte, where I was out in the cold. It was cold, very cold. I was in there and I paid to skip. Then late, about a year and a half, I was in the Hallmark Christmas, the love story. Then I got cast for the 24th. It's about the Buffalo Soldiers. This all in my training. I hadn't finished training yet. So I got cast for a dancer, which you can still pull the 24 up. It's about the event of the soldiers, the Buffalo Soldiers. So, like I say, if you can go get these 40-year degrees, which some people don't need it because that is not their calling. And then they don't stay at it because they don't like what they are doing. But see, I love what I'm doing. I'm like, and then I started late in life. And it's like God opened those doors. I pursued. And that's why I tell my children, show me your friends and I'll show you future. Because at that time, they kind of held me back. But then when the doors start open, and it don't matter what your age, you can go back and start. You can start today. You can be 80 years old. You can go back to school, which I was reading. A lady went back and got her 40 years because that's something she always wanted to do. So your dream and your purpose. My dream was to be a model, and I love what I do. And I try to give back. I try to reach and pull somebody up behind me, because that is what we're supposed to do. I tell the model, I have directors right now that is over thing asking me if I will monitor their social media. I'm like, no. I said, if I retire, I do. I said, right now, I need to keep up with my social media. So I know I started because you see the difference in working and loving what you do.
Yeah. Yes. We we see it. That's very interesting and everything. You know, a lot of people they expected it to jump off. As soon as they started, they expected to jump off right then. You know, even though my son, he's up and coming now, but you got to look at the work and the time he put in from it. You know, he what, 16, 17? He started then. Now stuff is starting to open up. He'll be 25 next month. But you see, it's the work and the process, and you have to stay consistent with everything. You know, we have a few people that I'm gonna put it up on the screen. They're saying hello and everything to you and stuff. Kitty said hello, and Sasha saying hello, and Miss Maddie Parker, she's saying wonderful, and she's saying congratulations. So once you got to that point, and what at the point you're at now, what made you keep pursuing it?
Because this is what I always dreamed of doing. This is what I had a passion to do. This is what is not a job. To me, it's not a job. It is fun. I enjoy the fashion. I enjoy the new things. I enjoy seeing the trend come around and around. What was back then is coming, making their way back here now, because I can remember the big bell bottom. I knew it was coming back when I was in fashion. I knew stuff, and see, that is exciting to me. I get to meet different people. I get to travel. This year I have tried to do more local, but like New York, and like I was telling you the other day, I supposed to meet up with a producer out in California, San Diego. He's supposed to fly in here, and that's why I'm doing Instagram. He's supposed to fly in here in August, and I'm supposed to meet, but I'm supposed to be on his show in California. So that's why I'm like, and then this talk show stuff is new to me, but I'm gradually coming to it because Steve Butler was the first guy to have me on his show. When I first, the month in my training, he reached out after I started putting up pictures. He reached out to me and he asked me would I come on his show. And he's a 52. He's a home guy. He asked me if I would come on his show. And I did. And it started. Then I was on the marketing pulpit. And then I was on Dr. Steve White's show. Then now I'm on your, I was supposed to go out to him in California when COVID hit. I was supposed to go to Texas when COVID hit. I was chosen. I had to audition to go in front of all these producers, all of them, Tyler Perry, all of them going to be in one place. I was chosen. I auditioned, and I was chosen to go. And that was going to be in Dallas, Texas. They were going to fly me out there, and then I was going to audition for all these different movies and everything. And see, you have to be selected. When modeling is not, you walk in there and you're there. You have to walk in there with confidence and be chosen. So some people, you're going to be, sometime you got to come back again. But I thank God that a lot of time I have did audition. I've been chosen. The door was open. They got me right there. And just like I was supposed to. And they are still trying to get me to go out to Texas to do that. It's called Explore, and it's where all the producers, the models, every big name in the industry would be there, and that's where you would get casting call for the big shows and all of that. So I was going out there, but now after this, I may go ahead and go out there, but I may end up in California first. But I do runway, New York, Atlanta, our doors have been opened up. And all I do, when the COVID came up, they thought it would shut the industry of producing and all, but it didn't. They found a way in Zoom. I have a long hallway in my place, in my condo. I audition walking up my hallway so they can see me do my walk up and down so they can see me. So they found ways to do it. It's just I'm like, so you see how I talk because it's exciting. And that's why I say your dream can start today. Your dream don't have to, because you think you have had all this failure in your life, but this is what you always want to do. You want to do this, you want to be this, but you think it's too late. But it's not. It's never too late. Never. You just got to have the get up and go and say, this is what I'm going to do. I'm not going to hear the negative. I'm not going to receive it. I'm not going to be around the ones that give it to me. I'm going to pursue what I want now, and you can get it done. It may take you a back step, but you can't give up. You can't. That's why a lot of people fail at their purpose, because they give up too soon. And they have this somebody in their ear telling them they can't do it. It can't be done. I know for a fact it can be done. After 40, usually the model, but you know what? The models is getting big time after the 40s. We got Martha Stewart. She started, and she's on a magazine at her age, after 80. So it's no age limit to start your purpose and start your dream, because if you walk in your purpose, the doors will be open. And if you walk in and God is walking before you, the door is going to slam open for you. So that's why I say, don't give up on your dream. Nobody would have ever thought somebody from Waysboro, a small off Mockingbird Hill, growing up being a tomboy with two brothers that one of them I used to fight all the time. One of them I used to fight all the time in the nursing school. Be a mail carrier, owning your own business, selling Avon on the side to make your children dream to get that. Somebody from Mockingbird Hill, from Anson County, where it's have a low score, have the top crime rate to be a small town. Anybody can come, but there are people in small places that is still trying to do their dream. So the point I want to make today when I came on is, don't give up. Stuff may seem like it's hopeless. Nothing is hopeless. As long as you got breath and you're still living, it can be done.
Amen to that. And everyone that's just tuned in, welcome to the Real Talk Conversation. We have Brenda Lee, the model, on with us today. And Brenda, I know you say you live on Instagram right now. So everybody, if you can hear me on Instagram on your side, hello from North Carolina.
Yes.
And we appreciate all of y'all. Maybe we can get a chance to come together one day and all of just meet and just greet and just talk and everything. And I'm glad that you said that about from a little small town. It don't matter where you're from. If you stay consistent and believe in yourself, I know we put God first, but you believe in yourself, you can make it. It don't matter. And it doesn't matter what age you are. I seen some of the models, like you said, in their 80s, and I've seen a couple of them that was 90s, and some people that people deem as ugly, they are models to this very day. So that tells you a lot about something. It's something inside that person, not just because the look on the outside. It's something about that person on the inside, that pursuit for, as they say, the pursuit of happiness. They're going after their dreams. They're chasing their dreams. They're not giving up. They're not giving in. They're not listening to the people on the side, because sometimes there's people on the side can hold you back from going forth and everything and what you're trying to accomplish. So we appreciate you coming on. Like I said, we talked yesterday when we was talking about this right here, and I greatly appreciate you. My son greatly appreciates you. He getting to meet other people on the other side, just like I meet other people on the other side. his smooth family getting to meet you on the other side. And now, what would you tell those people, young and older? What advice would you give them?
Like I wanted to tell, okay, I wanted to tell Brandon something. Like what he's doing is considered as art. Like where I told you I was going to end up being in Dallas, Texas. It's like because when I auditioned, a lot of people don't know my background as growing up. We grew up as singers. My sister was called the Diamonds. The Diamonds. They call us the Diamond Sister. So when I went and that lady, my agent and all asked me what else I could do, and I told them I said I sing. I sing with my sister. My sister, back in the day, if you find people that was back in their day, Reverend Gaddy, Bishop Boyman, all of those, because I was so too small. They used to drink and travel. They used to open up for Aretha Franklin, Father. They used to the Minor Clouds of Joy. They was big. They could have been like the Clark sisters. They did a lot of things, but things happen. That's what I said. Things happen in your life that cause you to fall off your purpose. And they fell off their purpose then going forward because they could have been one of those major singing group. But then I joined them, and when I got 10 years old, I started singing with them. So when they were casting me for the Texas, she asked me, I had to sing in front of them. And she said, don't you want to do that when you get to Texas? I said, well, if I'm going, and some people got up there, they were dancers, just like Brandon. That's what brought me to mind. One of the models got up there and they started dancing. They had a skill in dancing. And they was going to do that when they got to Texas because you don't know what, like I got on the 24, you had to be a certain size. You had to be a certain height and you could dance. I was doing the Charleston with these soldiers dressed up as soldiers thing that I had to learn within a day, their dance skit. I had to learn that. So I picked up on that. So you just got to have, some people just don't have and don't want. It's not they don't have it. It's they don't want to do it. Put the work in because this is work. You have to work. But see, it's work I enjoy. But that's why I say you got to pick your purpose that makes you happy, that you don't mind getting up every day going there. Some people have the big paying job. They hate going there, but they go because they're getting paid this big money. But it doesn't make them happy. What I do makes me happy. So the point is, don't give up. Don't, like you said, don't listen. Just, you got to be steadfast. You can't waver over here. You got to keep pursuing what you set out to do. And that's why I have done everything and more than I ever imagined that I would be doing. One thing I haven't come to me, but I see God is leading me to that direction this year too. So, because I've been a published model, I do runway, I have my own fragrance. Ain't too many models do make their own fragrance to fit them. I've done that, and I'm getting ready to do a men's cologne. So it's like you got to be persistent. Like people like to, like I'm bringing up bad thing. People like to do they drugs. They like to do this, that, and there. Won't they put that into themselves to do something positive that they want to see happen in them that can influence someone else? Because now when I go, I can get cast for a young model. I can, when they cast me, I pass for it. Depending on how, like yesterday, I had a photo shoot. I came out and I was told I looked like Pam Grier because I came out the tent with a big old fro. And I think one of her outfit and all the photographers today, I was Pam Grier, and I started laughing. I said, y'all just joking. They said, no, you can pass for Pam Grier. Right now, you can pass for her. But I do, when they cast me, They can cast me for a young, middle, whatever, depending how they make me up to do. So, but I stay in shape. That's what I'm saying. It's not just me modeling. I try to eat healthy. I try to exercise. I do exercise. So all of this is within yourself. You have to have motivation to reach your dream, to follow your dream. You got to have that. It's just not you're gonna put this out this day and hoping and just sit still, stand still, and hoping that somebody pick it. You got to put the work in. I be up late. I'm a night bird anyway. I be loading pictures. I be sending casting stuff. I be doing all of that but I enjoy doing it. That's the difference than doing it because I have to. I'm doing it because I want to and I love it. So when you pursue, like I tell children, like tomorrow is camp. I start camp. I try to give back working with children. Camp start for me tomorrow with the children. And they come to Miss Richardson. Miss Richardson, the first thing I try to get a relationship with them. A child knows when you're legit. So I try to get a relationship with them. And as I'm talking to them, I let them know they can do anything. They set their mind on what they want. And I ask them, what have you always wanted to do and you enjoy doing it? What do you, and they tell me, and I said, go after it. I said, you have to go after. I said, but you have to watch your friends who you hang around, because if they seeing you doing positive things, they're going to try to bring you to their level, back to their level. So you have to watch that. And then it's not, a lot of people say, some people are taught, yes, you can be in a family that don't encourage you. You can be in a family that don't lift you up, don't give you the support you need, but you can't look at that. You got to look within yourself and notice, I want something for me. I grew up in this atmosphere, but I don't want this for me. I'm going to do better. I'm going to strive to do better. I know I can better. And that means if, like I was saying, some friends going to fall off on the wayside, that means they didn't supposed to be with you anyway. Something going to stay with you, encourage you. Those are the ones that will mean to encourage you to get to your purpose. So it's just a matter of mind thinking, doing what you want to do that makes you happy. Everybody have a skill that they can do very well. Everybody, and that skill makes them happy, and they need to pursue it.
Amen to that right there. Now, with all this that's going on right now in the world, we see all this fighting and all this commotion and all this stuff going on between back and forth with the states and China and all this right here. What helped you to stay focused with what you're doing?
What helped me to fight? I enjoy what I do. I stay, and another thing, I don't look at the news all the time because the news only bring bad news, and I don't like bad news. So I try not to. When I hear about things, someone's telling me about something, I don't look at that news. I'm serious, because everything on the news is about killing, discrimination, all of this, and you're going to hear it anyway. So I try not to focus on that, but I try to stay focused on my goal, and I try to, like the models, some of the models, the young models, some of them, they don't know better. Like they will, like one girl I know, one of the models, will give somebody their real address. Like if you look up my name on website, it don't have my address. It have John Casablanca address on. That's what we see. They hadn't been trained. It has their address, not mine, their telephone, not mine, on there. And I will not give my information out. So what keep me focused is I don't look at the news. I don't, because all this is bad news. And then if I want to know about the news, I read my Bible, because everything it has spoken in there is already happened. I see it. So I don't have to listen to it. I see it. And that's why with Curtis Gatewood coming up with this idea about coming down there in Waitsboro, I was gladly to be among that, to do that, because when I hear things, I want to give back. That's why I help with Holler, give. I don't help physically, but I send some down there, because I tried to help my hometown back. And that's why I tried to give back, because I'm from Anson County, and anything that I tell them, they think, a lot of people think I'm just saying it. I try to give back and try to help, because that's where I grew up. That's where I went to high school, elementary school. That's where I went. But I try not to be among. A lot of times when you see me, if I'm taking pictures, either with my family or people from the model industry, which I'm connected in there, I will take pictures with them. And as Brandon, I'm trying to motivate him in there, because in the model is not that many guys there. So they are looking for guys that have the quality that Brandon has. I'm being honest. They look at, and I've been watching his videos and stuff, and I'm looking at it. I think I showed somebody that. They said, man, he's good. But I'm like, they are looking for it. So I'm like, it's out there. Brandon is calling. He said he's calling. So he's doing it. So I'm like, it's a lot of kids. As I was down to Holler the other day, and I told that he was very shy. I spoke to one guy. He was very shy. And I asked him a couple questions. And he was crying. And I told him, I said, and he was dressed real nice. And he was kind of with his hair. And I'm like, take that hood off. I said, because if you were around me and in the industry I am, I said, that's the style right now. I said, that's the style. And then he agreed and came on his face. And I said, if you ever think about hooking up in the model industry, I'm like, I am on 3 agents right now that cast me out, that cast me out to do different things, because John Casablanca, I signed with them, but I can sign with other people. So I'm with other people also. So I'm like, this world, if they would take a grasp of doing what's right and doing their purpose, we may not have all of this. But see, we got some people that don't know who they are and don't know. They have it in their head, but they have been beat down, told them they are no good. They can't do this. They can't do that. That they have lost their ambition to do things. But see, that's when you got to have the willpower to know that you can do all things. You can do all things in Christ. I'm like, you may not know Christ. I'm speaking on a live thing. You may not know him, but God got a purpose for everybody. Even though if you don't think you need him or you don't know him, you think you don't. He'll plan your life out way before. Like my life was planned out. And as I speak, Carl, I knew God was leading me back there, because even when my child was 5 years old, he did something that got on the American Funny Video. Him and I flew out there. We was on this big platform, American Funny Video, and we won. He won, but he was so little, he don't remember that. But I remember, and that stage of being around people, the 2 people that was there was very known. And I mean, we just clicked right then. And I knew then, I said, yep. I didn't know how God was going to bring it to pass with me, but I knew then, because when I went to talking to them, when we was out there in California for the American Funny Video, I got to see all these different actors there. I was in the studio in Los Angeles Me and my son was out there. He got there because he was acting up in church, but I got there to speak and talk to a lot of different platforms that was there in the studio. So the Lord was ordering my step back, even though I took a detour and waited on my dream. He was still prepping me, because right now everything I went through, I'm using it comes somewhere. Because now when I cast for a movie, they'll ask you, what can you do? They have you been a mail carrier? I played basketball? Have you did that? Have you did volleyball? Because one movie, I was the gym string. It was out of Charleston. They asked about singing a choir. And I was on there. I was cast in the choir because I could sing. Then they asked about if you could play volleyball, if you can, you know how to clean, if they want you in a commercial doing cleaning. So everything that I focus on nursing, one of them was cast for nursing, and I was in nursing school. So everything I detoured from is helping me now. So the people of today that have not followed their dream, you never know what you're going through right now that you can use in your purpose. So you got to follow what you always had. You just got to take the people and the negativity out of your ear that's telling you can't do this. Because it's Bryn Lee, the model, can do it. I know anybody can do it.
And that's the key thing. You got to get these negative people and words and sound. You got to get it out of your ear. You got to get them off in front of you, behind you, or even beside you.
Yes.
I don't care, friends, family, associates. You got to separate yourself from them, because if not, they would talk you out of a whole lot of stuff that you should be focusing on and producing and processing and going forward into your life. You know, I had an uncle, he don't pass away now. My uncle could have played professional baseball, but hanging around the guys talked him out of it. And he used to talk about it all the time before he passed away. And one thing I told him, I said, Uncle, I'm gonna tell you something. I wish I'd have been born. I wish I'd have been around around you like that when that was going on, because I would have said, man, forget them folks. You chase your dream of being that baseball player. Now, I got hurt playing basketball and stuff like that, and everything. So here it is now. Fast forward to now in 2023. You know, I'm starting to do stuff. You know, because of my son, he's helping me do stuff. You know, he got me doing this right here, and bring the platform, because you know he watched them how I talk sometime on Facebook, and so he said, just bring it to the audience, bring it to the people. So he got me doing that, and now that's why I got the Real Talk Conversation, you know, and I take a page out of Pastor Steve's book. I'm trying to bridge the gap. We bridge building, you know. I meet other people meet us,
Yes.
and we all come together and we just sit down and talk. We ain't trying to down nobody, because iron sharpens iron. We're not going to agree with everything, but we can come and sit down and talk. And it's good that you brought up about Minister Curtis Gatewood, because you know the march is going down in August 26th. August 26th in Allen County, Waysboro, and you kind of beat me to it, but that's fine. And the good thing about that is we trying to get out there and try to stop and curb some of this killing with the young people, and even talk to them, even to pursue their dreams of what they want to do and what they're trying to accomplish. Like you say, everybody got a calling. The question is, are you going to walk in that calling that he's giving you? It may not go on now because you're doing what you want to do, but somewhere along the line, somebody got to come along and help you get into that calling, get into that purpose of who you're supposed to be and who you are, not just what somebody has said that you are. You know, the question that came to me that time when I was in church, when I was staying in Monroe, Minister Griffin asked me, well, he's a pastor now. He said, do you know who you are? That was the question he asked me. And I was like, Yeah, I'm Carl. He said, no, do you know who you are? And I couldn't answer
All
because
with wisdom.
I didn't know. At the time, I didn't know. So he helped me find that in myself. And
Call
now,
you
no, you go ahead.
call I watch what you post, and a lot of things you post come with wisdom within you that you're letting out. So this may be your calling and you enjoy doing it. So this may be what the doors is opening for you, because you don't know, you be picking some deep stuff out. You be putting some really deep stuff out there that people need to hear. I don't know if they're reading it, but they need to, because you are putting some really deep stuff. And I'm like, man, he nailed it on the head. So that's why I say it'll start, the Lord will start showing you where you need to be at. And I'm like, I looked at it. And that's why I'm so thankful that you asked me to listen, to be able to be on here, because I have been watching you, and I do come on and listen to the show when I'm here. When I'm in town, I do try to listen to both shows while I'm there, because it's real talk, smooth talk, but you're planting seed, and hopefully some of these young kids that's out there that don't. And another thing, down when I went down there and see some of the things that is trying to bring that gap in there, some of the parents not helping their children to participate in some of this stuff. And see, that's why I say sometime it have to be the maturity of the child when they get a certain age to realize what they have been through most of their life is not where they want to stay at. Because sometimes in the atmosphere of your own home could be harmful, because some parents may be verbal, telling stuff to their children that shouldn't be spoken out their mouth. And sometimes that keeps, the child keeps that on. But sometimes they're going to have to make, even though I was treated this way or taught this way, I know I have better things and I want to do this. So I need to pursue, I need to not listen, try to block down. And that's why I was asking about mentors down. It's not only in Anson County. I'm not stating Anson County. That's everywhere. A child need a mentor, to somebody that can take them to do things that they had never done, so they can experience things to help them think, okay, I always wanted to do this. Like my daughter right now, she's a big sister to someone. She picks this girl up. She takes her places. This girl would never go on, her parents would never be able to take her. She take her to different things. I have a nephews that do the same thing. Big brother, they do things with children that may never experience things. And that's what we have to do. And that's why I reach back down to some of the younger models and try to get, and they asked me, they tried to, because they watch my page and then they watch what I post. Like I've been posted in 4 magazines. They watch what I do and they ask me, did I get there? And I tell them, that's why I say sometimes as an adult, we have to reach back as we get to where we want to be, reach back and pull somebody else up behind us to let them see that it is possible to focus on your dream, to get your dream, to pursue your dream. And then even if you have done all of this in your lifetime, it's never too late to make that turn and start over. It's never too late. Only way it's too late, you're not here. The Lord have taken you home. That's when it's too late. If you're breathing, it's never too late to pursue your dream. It's never too late to start over. No matter where you've been, you can start anew. You just got to put the work in, stay focused, and stay committed and be consistent. I'm very, I'm like, everything I've learned before I started my dream has helped me to be, because I even was a little applied for the FBI. I forgot about that. The FBI. I was I was in that. So I'm like, I know how to do, and like now I get hit up all the time. And so if I thought about dating somebody, I know how to do a background check. I know how to pull this in. And I'm gonna give you this. One guy I thought about. He seemed like a nice guy. I pulled his back. It was nothing wrong with what he did unless he was changing his lifestyle to start over. If I see that, that's a different thing. He had been in prison. He had killed somebody or something. But when I met him, I asked him anything I need to know when I see him. And what I met was on a messenger. Anything I need to know. No, well, nothing that I need to know. And see, these young girls today, they don't know how to do that. And I'm like, yes, it is. You spoke. And then when I told him what I knew, he got so angry at me. And it wasn't because of what he had done. If he made a change, is he making a change? He's out and he's living and he's trying to make a change. The point was he got angry and verbal and all of this on that. And I said, oh no, this is not where I'm going with this. That you deleted, you blocked. So these young models, they think because they are models that all this attention that they are getting, that they supposed to give their life history, their address. One girl, I said, you don't do that. You never met this person. You just starting out as a model. You don't give them that kind of information. That is the guys and the male. You don't. You want to see, you meet them in a public place. You don't give that out. And I said, and I'm trying to teach them that, the younger one. You don't do that. If you want to meet them, set up a public place that you meet at. Set up and let somebody know who you're meeting when you go. That's what I'm trying to teach them that you do. And like now, Carl, everything that's out there that's in Hollywood and stuff is not for me. Certain things I will not do. Certain things I will turn down because it's not my value. So I'm out there, but it's certain things I will not do. It was as movies they asked me to do. I have been asked to do a lot of different movies. I'm like, oh no, they're gonna pay me this big. I'm like, oh no, I don't. That's something I do not do. So it's like I am persistent, but I am sticking to. I'm in an industry that you meet all kind of stuff, but you got to be strong to stay your ground. I don't do that stuff. I don't.
Yeah, and that's important because you have to have a strong mindset. Because if not, you'll fall for anything. Just because they paying you good, don't mean that is good for you. You know, you got to be careful with this kind of stuff because sometimes they will draw you in this and have you prostitute, you on drugs, have you doing all this kind of stuff. Instead of you getting paid that money, they getting your money now. And it's crazy.
I seen online about Dennis Rodman. He played with Michael Jordan there, and he had all this money, but he hired a agent that was no good for him, and she was taking all his money. Right now, he's living out of one of his buses because she took all of his. She's in prison, but she took all of his money. And see, at that time, Dennis Rodman didn't have anybody that was for him, that was truly for him. They was out to get. That's why I say, show me your friends and I'll show you your future. They was just out to get the money he had. And now he lives out of one of his bus. And I'm like, okay, that's not good. So you do have, and that's where the mentors comes around. That's where you have to have that discernment people that come in your face and always want you to do things that you know is not good. You have to be very mindful of that. And especially in the field I'm in and what Brandon had, you have to be careful because you get people that will try to take advantage of you. They will. They will try to, because I done been offered over $20,000 just to show up at a somewhere on somebody's arm to go. And I'm like, no, you have me out in China. I'm like, no, you have me in a shipped out in China. I'm like, when they taking women's and shipping them out, I said, no, I don't do that. And if I did, I would be crazy enough to do that. So you have to be very careful in my field, but there's other fields that people can pursue. But the point is, if this is what you want to do, you always wanted to do, is this what that's why when I'm camp tomorrow, I asked them, what in life do you want to do? I asked the little ones, you got to start early with them, asking them, what do you want to do? And have to breathe in their head. If you want to do this, make sure you know who you're hanging around. Make sure they are not trying to lead you down the wrong path. Make sure they are not there to get what they can from you. Because people use you. You allow them to use you, they will. And then when you call it on them on it, they'll get angry at you for calling them on using you. Now, what in the world? They using you, and then you tell them about it, and they get angry at you because you won't allow them to do it. And that's when you have to depart. You have to part from them. That's when I told you earlier, sometimes God bring people in your life for a season. And when that season is up, when they have did what they supposed to, they have to leave. They have to go.
Yes. So we're so glad that you came on and shared part of your journey with us, Brenda, and everything. We're not going to hold you too long, but I do want to ask you this right here. Let everybody know what you got coming up.
Like I said, I have an audition in Greenville, South Carolina, second week in July. I'm doing camp until August, the second week in August. So Monday through Thursday, I will be doing camp. But most of my event I have stopped because this is what I like to do. So when I like to do things and it's important to me, I will clear my calendar. And I have a fashion show in September. I have a fashion show at the end of July also. So I kind of slowed down to do summer camp because the children are our future. So whatever I can give back, I give back. And I will be coming out with men fragrance. So stay tuned. And I have a magazine that I think you I think you can purchase that in stores. It's the magazine out of Raleigh that I would just feature in. So, but usually when I have something come, so with me, something pop up tomorrow. Something can pop up tomorrow. But if it pops up, it have to be on the weekend because I will be doing camp.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna let me
and yeah, like I said, my fragrance is still online that you can purchase for your significant other, mom. And I took a photo shoot yesterday with it, and I sprayed it. And the girl, that smells good. But yes, thank you, Carl, so much for inviting me, you and Brandon.
We just thank you for coming on. And I'm gonna let my son let everybody know what he got going on.
Yeah, so like I said, July 11th is my birthday and stuff like that. I'll be 25. Like I said, that Sunday of that week, may not be doing the Smooth Talk podcast just because I got a bunch of doctor appointments that I got to do. Like I said, I have dance videos coming and all that. Got some photos coming, stuff like that. Some more skits. Got some new merch and stuff like that coming out for him and on my end. And like we said earlier, the book, clothing, and all that other stuff. And we appreciate everybody coming through and stuff like that. And we got some people lined up to do more of these and stuff like that. So it's a lot that we got coming. We slowly growing.
Yeah, and me, I got coming up. Still trying to get me and Minister Griffin. Not me and Minister Griffin. Me and Minister Curtis is trying to get the dates right so we can continue on about this racism. Yeah. We're gonna talk about that in in August 26th in Wadesboro, North Carolina, Anson County, where we're from. We're gonna have the march that's going on August 26th at 10 o'clock a.m. If you're around, everybody come out, be a part of this. And plus, like he was talking about the shirts, I got 2 shirts that's we're in the making. Now, I got one I'm already done. I'm working on the other one right now, and I'm still working on a third one. So y'all got me working and everything. But and I'm glad because it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. I'm having fun doing this. I tell people that's my boss right there. That's my boss right there, and everything. But this is something. I'm gonna give you the background of this, how this started. When he started the podcast, he brought it to my attention, and he said, "Dad, I just want you to be on there with me." Now, I was saying on his podcast, I was just somewhat minding my own business. I wasn't thinking about doing this. He said, "I want you to be a part of this." But I looked at it as my son want me to be a part of this that he's doing. And so, and then I got to thinking, this would be a great idea because I could bring my era to his era, and his era can meet my era.
Yes.
And we can come together and try to get things solved and try to get some type of stuff going on. And so, I still got some stuff going on, got some stuff lined up. Later on, I got to talk to some married couple. I got some stuff going on for the married people. And before he went in the hospital last time, and he brought it to my attention, was it yesterday? Yesterday. He brought it to my attention yesterday. I was going to talk about who shot you spiritually and mentally, but it didn't kill you. But I was going to talk about, he went in the hospital at that time, but he brought it back to my attention. So if he brought it back, then that means I got to talk about it. You gotta do that. And we look at it like this right here. We're not too much concerned about who's on. We're concerned about who's not on, but we're concerned about the people that are on.
Yes.
That's what we do. We concentrate on who's in here.
That's
and
true.
We may listen to it later, but we concentrate on the people that are actually in here. And like I said, I pulled this page out of Pastor Steve, my great friend, Pastor Steve of Harvest Ministry in Wadesboro. He have this series that he do of bridge building. I don't care if you're black, white, whatever. If you got great ideas and things that can help, I would love to talk to you and have you to jump on. Oh, and let me say this too. As far as the entrepreneurs and people that are doing stuff like you're doing stuff, modeling stuff, I'm going to open up the platform. I'll let them come on and share what they're getting ready to do, share what their business is. I ain't no hater. I'm trying to help everybody. Right. And that's our way of giving back, just help. That's all we can do. And we just got some stuff going and everything. And we're going to have some more people on. We're going to do other things. And one day when you're not busy, out your busy schedule, you come back at any time, let us know what you got going on and everything. And we're going to start trying to be on maybe a little bit more. You never know. We're just doing on Sunday, we might expand and do another day or two or something like that. Yeah. Because some people say we starting to grow. So, and got to give the people what they want. That's what OJ said.
But I enjoy being here, and I thank you for reaching out to me.
Yes. And things like that, I'm trying to get local people that nobody may have heard of and everything. And so, and plus, we're on my page, but we're also on Brandon's page.
Yeah.
And you are on my page, but
Brandon.
you're also on your page. So we're reaching people and trying to expand. And, we just trying to be one big happy family. Like my son has, he has the Smooth Family.
Yeah.
# Smooth Family.
Yeah.
And we just trying to come together.
That is called networking, Carl.
Yeah.
And so we're just trying to do a whole lot of stuff.
That is called networking. That is exactly.
I'm gonna reach out to some pastors, and we're gonna come on. We just gonna talk and chop it up. It ain't to dog nobody. It's just to see what's going on. I can introduce some of this stuff to some people, some of these pastors that don't really know. We were sharing this morning at church. I was sharing this morning in Sunday school to church. A fresh start. A fresh start. It is now 7:15. A fresh start was started 7:16. A fresh start when you wake up. A fresh start when you go on your way. A fresh start starts when you make up your mind to do stuff. I ain't finna get onto that road like that. But a fresh start when you really make up your mind and want to do something, make a change in your life. And not only in your life, but in everybody that's around.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yo, I'm a hold off right there. I'm gonna stop right there. So thank you, Brenda, for coming through. We thank you so much for coming on with us, and we appreciate everything. Like I say, anytime. Even when we're on it and you see us on and you see something you want to say, you can jump on. I just seen the link. It ain't no problem. Right. So you enjoy the rest of your day and have fun and Godspeed to everything. We're praying, on your safe travels to and fro. We thank you and enjoy. And I'm gonna throw this little pitch out there. Let everybody out there know that we on here. Tell everybody in California about us. Like you said, that's network. Let everybody know.
I will. I definitely will.
So
that's
we
networking. That's what it is.
Networking.
That's how because you never know who you run into.
Yeah. Everybody that's on Instagram, if y'all can still hear us, hey, come through. Look us up. Look us up on Facebook.
I got an Instagram too.
We got Instagram. We got TikTok. Look us up. We on there.
We got all that.
But Brenda, let y'all know who we are.
Yeah.
You all got to. Definitely.
So Brenda, we're gonna let you go. And
definitely.
We're gonna let you go, and we're gonna enjoy the rest of your evening and everything. And we're gonna enjoy. We love you and thank you for coming through. Appreciate you. Much love to you and your success.
Thank you.
And we'll see you later.
All right, have a good one.
Bye.
Y'all, there you have it. We getting ready to roll up out of here and everything. Thank everyone for coming on. Thank you for your comments. The Real Talk Conversations, we live right now and we still going on. We still working out some kinks and everything, but we are still doing this. I one of the reasons why this page was created, this platform was created, so we can have some real talk conversation without arguing.
Right.
We may disagree, but we ain't got to argue. We come here. I'm trying to bring people on. My son trying to bring people on that we can just come in and sit down and just chop it up, as the young folks say. We go chop it up. We're going to chop it up, y'all. We thank y'all for everything. Sasha, we got love hearts for you too. Kitty, you always come through. Smooth Family, appreciate all y'all. Thank y'all for everything out there. I ain't going to clown too much, y'all. I ain't going to clown too much because I can clown a little bit, Tony, I seen you in here. If you still in here, man, appreciate you. Marlo, I'm still gonna bust you upside your head and everything. But that's love. That's my little brother, Marlo Crawford. That's my little brother, y'all. My little brother. Everybody that jumped on, everybody that came through. I see Katie. She used to work at the store across from where I work at. I seen a couple of Pastor Steve was in here for a bit. And if he's still in here, man, much love to you and everybody. Appreciate you. Pastor James out of Georgia, appreciate you and everything. Everybody just came through, appreciate you. Much love.
Appreciate
much
Kiki.
love. Yeah, Kiki. Everybody. We appreciate everybody. Thank you for making this a success for me. Like I said, we still trying to do some stuff. We still trying to work some stuff out. And it's all going down. We're going to do this thing. So on that note, we getting ready to go out it and get out of here. And y'all have a great rest of your afternoon.
Yeah.
And we say peace and love and